girls, and welcome back to the channel for Vlogmas Day 9. In today's video, I am going to be going over some of my most underrated Christmas movie classics that everybody needs to watch right now after this video and after watching my other Vlogmas videos. Christmas movies create this kind of feeling, like I don't know what it is, but there's just something about Christmas movies that feel so magical and make me feel so wholesome and nostalgic. And so it's no wonder why, as a society, we've sort of grappled on to some certain Christmas movies that are classics, like Elf, The Polar Express, A Christmas Carol, all of these type of classic Christmas movies that a lot of people watch every year. But I think that there are some underrated gems that I don't really hear people talking about that much, that literally I've either just recently added to my Christmas rotation or have been watching for literal decades and just need people to watch these movies. So in this video, I'm going over 5 of my most underrated Christmas movies. So let's just get into it. My first movie is a lot more recent. It came out last year for the Christmas season, but when I first watched it, I absolutely loved it and was determined to include it in my annual rotation of Christmas movies, and that is Spirited. This movie features Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell plays this sort of elf to Santa that's been working for Santa for a very long time, and he is trying to fix this sort of unfixable humbug character in Ryan Reynolds' character. If it sounds like a familiar story with the bah humbug character, well, there's some interesting ties and parallels between our two main leads in this movie. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it. This movie is a musical, and it did premiere on, I think, Apple TV. So it makes a lot of sense that it wasn't getting a whole lot of buzz or a whole lot of talk. There was that trending TikTok where Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell were doing a TikTok trend at the time that went viral. But other than that, the movie itself, I've not heard people really talking about. And fair, it did come out just last year, but I want to hear people talking about this movie. I want this to be a part of an annual classic. I feel like it has all of the good things that make Christmas movies feel so nostalgic. It has 2 very charismatic leads. It has a very nostalgic feeling. It has a twist. It has music that is so good it makes you just want to get up and dance and sing along. I think part of it is that musicals feel very nostalgic to me. And so I think because also Christmas movies feel nostalgic, musicals in that sphere just feel like a perfect mix for me. I know that musicals aren't everybody's favorite, but I highly recommend you check this out. Get it for your child of Apple TV, or if it's on a different streaming service at this point, please watch it because I absolutely love this movie. Now I'm going into my second movie, which has been out for a lot longer, and while it does come up, it's sort of when you type in the Christmas movies, I definitely don't think that this movie has been seen by enough people, in my generation at least, to warrant it being a classic, and that is Fred Claus. This stars Vince Vaughn and Paul Giamatti in this movie, and it basically follows the story of Santa Claus and him starting his humble beginnings and becoming the Christmas legend that we are, but it follows it through the perspective of his older brother, who has grown bitter and jealous of Saint Nick's success. But when an auditor in Kevin Spacey's character comes to review the North Pole, a lot of shenanigans ensue, and a lot goes wrong for this put together, messed up family. I think the thing that makes this movie, through its wackiness and through its fun, sort of being a Christmas family movie, the fact that it talks about jealousy and it talks about relationships between siblings and between families, and that sort of the hard feelings that can come up during the Christmas season between being in the shadow of somebody, of a family member that is giant and has all this huge reputation, and feeling small because of it. And it has so many sweet, beautiful moments. It almost made me cry the first time watching it through, of just seeing Fred's journey and learning to be happy and appreciate all the success that his brother has, and knowing that his brother was doing it all for him. And I think it just puts a really fun twist on the traditional Santa Claus story that we know. And I really appreciate it and love it. And while this movie, like I said at the beginning, does reel in its crowd. It does have its own like dedicated fans. I just don't think that it's included enough in the conversation of like some of the best Christmas movies. And so I would highly recommend watching this movie as well. Like, please go watch it. It's so good. My third movie is another Vince Vaughn movie. I don't know why he's in so many Christmas movies. I don't know. But this one is called Four Christmases and stars Reese Witherspoon. Now this movie I saw maybe like 5 years ago at this point for the first time, and it was such a fun like Christmas movie. I think while it can serve for kids, it was such a fun Christmas movie for adults to enjoy. Like, I very much love it. And as somebody that comes from their own separated family, I think that Four Christmases highlights the diverse types of families there are out there. It literally like hits every noggin. So basically the premise of the story is Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon's characters are a couple, and while they normally avoid seeing their families for the Christmas season, their flight to, I think, Hawaii gets canceled, and they end up being obligated to visit their families on Christmas, basically visiting each of their respective parents, aka having four Christmases. I really love and appreciate, like I said, how this movie tackles different types of families, and the stresses that come with the holiday season of like having to divide your time and yourself between all of these different people, all of the arguments and the fights that ensue, but ultimately at the end of the day, all of the love that happens and all of the hard conversations and the emotion that comes up with Christmas. I love the representation of all the different types of families. I love the wackiness in it. I love the kid actors in some of these scenes. Like, they are just spot on. Like, it is so funny. And like I said, I think it's a great movie that, like, while I think your kids can enjoy it, I think it hits different as an adult. Like, I very much appreciate that it exists. And I wish there were more movies that were kind of like it, you know? My fourth movie is switching gears back to the children's side of Christmas, and this is a movie that I have a lot of nostalgia for, and it is the Drake and Josh Christmas special. Look, I am a Gen Z. I grew up on Nickelodeon and Disney Channel, and the Drake and Josh Christmas special would always play every Christmas season, and I would be like, I need to watch this full and through. It stars the cast of Drake and Josh, the TV show, but this is their Christmas special, and it features a lot of wacky shenanigans as well. I think it's definitely aimed at children. It's a lot more kid-friendly, but it still has what I consider to be a necessity in Christmas movies and specials, which is that heart and that story behind it. And in this story, Drake and Josh are visiting an orphanage, and the orphanage is losing money. They're running out of funds. They don't think that they're going to be able to provide Christmas for their orphans this year. And so Drake and Josh basically work to help establish like a Christmas for these orphans. They help get a tree, which goes terribly wrong. They try to take them caroling, which starts out very as you would expect this type of movie to do, and then evolves into something that becomes very sweet. And while they aren't necessarily doing this for the best purposes, and the kids eventually find that out, ultimately their hearts are in the right place and they care about these orphans. The movie does a really good job of like getting you to care very deeply about these orphans that we've never seen in the Drake and Josh lore before and anything like that, while also putting a lot of focus on our main characters and the wacky villain. I just think it has all of the ingredients to make a perfect Christmas special, and even though it's a kids movie on Nickelodeon, I think it's highly disregarded. I think it's great, so I would recommend checking that out. And the final movie, I'm going to put movie in quotes because this one is more of a stage musical that has been filmed in a movie format, is going to be, my fifth entry is going to be Black Friday by Team Star Kid. If you're not familiar with Team Star Kid, this is like a musical theater like rant, and I'm sorry. But basically they are a musical theater troupe that comes up with a lot of different like off-Broadway musicals and stuff like that, and they've been growing in popularity recently. They are the team behind The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, Nerdy Prudes Must Die, and Black Friday. This one is basically, as you can imagine, set on the holiday season of Black Friday and follows this father who is going to the mall to get the latest and greatest wiggly toy on Black Friday for his son. And he's really determined this year, as his wife passed away the year before. He feels responsible, and so he's very determined to get this doll. But it soon comes to be found out that everybody in the mall is obsessed with this doll to a concerning degree, and I'll leave it at that. But the cast is phenomenal. Everybody plays up their role so well. There's so much humor in this movie, but so much heart behind it as well. And it does a great job, again, of showing diverse and different types of families, how the holiday season brings people together and tears them apart, and also focuses a lot on the romance and idea of Christmas time being a time to rekindle old flames or find people that are going to love you and care about you. It also has a lot of sci-fi elements to it for you sci-fi fans out there. There's a whole lore around the musicals from Team Star Kid that has to do with magic and other dimensions and space and all of this crazy type of stuff. So this musical literally has all the fixings. This one, I think, out of everything else that I've listed, is the most obscure, but I think it's definitely worth a watch and can be very fun for the musical lovers in your family. So that is it for this video. Those are the 5 underrated Christmas movies. Even if you just give one of these movies on the list a try, and any of these sounded interesting, I feel like I have done my job as a YouTuber in recommending some really amazing Christmas movies. So comment down below what your favorite underrated Christmas movies are, or just your favorite Christmas movies in general. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new Vlogmas video. Bye!